Hi, my name is Steve Higgins. I'm one of the principals and financial advisors here at HD Wealth Strategies. Allie, my partner, and I, we often put on workshops and classes throughout the year to help cover topics for our clients like tax planning and estate planning and investment planning, as well as current economic situations. Now, one of the things that you can do as a retiree or somebody preparing to retire as an investor is to make sure that you've got a plan to create diversification in the taxability of your income in retirement. Now, a couple years ago, we put on this workshop called Bracketology in Buckets to kind of play on the idea of tax season and March Madness. So we thought in that spirit that we would reproduce this video for you, give you a 15-minute glimpse on the benefits of why having diversification in your taxability can make a big difference for you. Now go ahead and watch this video. It's well worth your time. Take about 15 minutes. If you have any questions or concerns after that you think we can help you with, please do not hesitate to reach out. We look forward to talking to you soon.
Also, in the spirit of March Madness, we're going to be discussing bracketology in buckets, but in a little different way. Tax brackets and income buckets. Specifically, how do you manage your accounts over time to create the most tax-efficient income in retirement? At this point, I'll hand it over to my partner, Steve Higgins, to get us started. Steve?
Today I want to talk about diversification. Diversification is different, though, than what we're normally used to talking about with stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and asset allocation. I want to talk about diversification from an income planning standpoint. I'm going to talk about a couple of scenarios. They're all very similar. Each one of these households has a net worth of $1.5 million. All three are 66 years old. It's a couple. They want to spend $100,000 per year. This retirement period is going to last 29 years. They're receiving Social Security benefits that total $50,000 per year. So let's take a look at our first scenario. Scenario number one. 66 years old. They want to spend $100,000 per year of a rising income. 29 years in retirement. $50,000 per year total in Social Security, and they have assets of $1.5 million and that are all in traditional IRAs. So a reminder, traditional IRAs, when you pull that money out, is taxed at ordinary income. So let's look and see how this works out in our model using My Strategy Independence. We see that there's a safety margin after 29 years of $1.46 million. That means they've started with $1.5 million, funded their retirement, and they have about what they started with. And this couple experienced a withdrawal rate of 5.84%, which is slightly high, but within the realm of acceptance. What I would say is that we would like to see over time a rising portfolio value and not just stay in the same place. There may be periods of time where that's the case, but it's important to understand that we'd like to see that curve up rather than down. Let's look at scenario number two. Again, 66 years old. They want to spend $100,000 per year for 29 years. $50,000 per year of Social Security. They also have $1.5 million in assets, but this is divided equally between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA, so $750,000 in each. So a reminder, with the Roth IRA, the money that you put in is taxed when you put it in, but it's not taxed when you take it out. And like the traditional IRA, the growth is tax-free over time as well. Okay, so this is substantially different. We can see in scenario number two that there's a safety margin of $2.36 million. Started with $1.5 million, funded your entire retirement of a rising income, and you have $2.36 million at the end. And again, I want to remind you that our goal is not to try to save as much money as we can to leave money to our kids or to loved ones. The goal is to provide for the ability to deal with the unexpected things that might happen later on in life. This couple experienced a 4.32% withdrawal rate, which is closer to that rule of thumb of 4% and certainly acceptable. We would consider this a very strong situation and something that we like to see. Now, in this last scenario, I'm going to show you something a little bit different. Scenario three, again, everything is the same. $1.5 million in investable net worth, but it's a little different. They've got $500,000 in traditional IRAs, $500,000 in Roth IRAs, and $500,000 in income-producing property. What I don't want to focus on so much is the $500,000 worth of rental property. What I want to focus on is the income derived from that rental property of $30,000 per year, which is certainly realistic in our community today. So let's look at how this worked out. We've got a safety margin of $2.264 million. That means you started with 1.5. Actually, you started with $1 million. Turn that into $2.264 million while funding your retirement for 29 years. This withdrawal rate is 3.16%. One thing that we're missing in the safety margin is the value of that appreciated real estate. A conservative return over 29 years, we would expect that $500,000 worth of real estate to be worth about $1 million. So you'd add that to that safety margin to come up with assets of $3.264 million with a withdrawal rate of 3.16%. And what you're going to notice is while all three of these scenarios all started with the same amount of investable assets, because of the way they derived income and the way their income was taxed, the outcome was very different. So while their financial statement might look very similar, the outcome was not. So let's compare those three scenarios side by side. We have a safety margin that's increasingly higher, especially if we take scenario number 3 and add the value of that real estate to it. You actually have a significant amount of greater ability to deal with those what ifs in life. We have a lower withdrawal rate, starting at 5.84%, progressing down to 3.16%. Now let's focus on that probability. This is something that is on the third page of the My Strategy Independence report. And again, what we're looking at is what are the chances this is going to work out. The way I put it simply is what are the chances you can run through the forest for 29 years and not hit a tree. So you've got, in scenario number 1, a 76% chance of your retirement plan working out without having to make any changes whatsoever. In scenario number 2, there's an 85% chance of not having to make any changes whatsoever to your retirement plan. Scenario number 3, this is the one that had traditional IRA, Roth IRA, and rental income, had a 94% chance of working out without having to make any changes whatsoever. They're all considered good plans. Scenario number 3 is considered an absolutely excellent plan.
I hope you enjoyed that brief throwback video from 2016. Hopefully it gave you some ideas. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thanks for watching.